Hi, everyone. It's Reverend Robin with Healing with Reverend Robin. Um, as you can see, I always have my Go Bills on. Um, that's what happens when you're a Bills fan. Anyhow, a few months ago when I first started this, I was talking about aura pictures and the chakras. um, and I finally found mine. So I thought I'd bring them out and show you just some of them. Now, I've been having these taken since 1997. So, and the last one I think I had done was 2016. But these are a few of the first ones I had done. And if you can tell, they had the double picture with the chakras in it. And you could tell now this picture here, the heart chakra was opened more. You could tell what I was studying at the time when these pictures were taken. This was more of an aqua color. I was doing more readings and more healings to get the blue and the green to come out to the aqua color. I was opening the heart chakra more. That's why that one was bigger. The next one I had done had the third eye, the heart, the throat, and the crown all opened. I don't know if trying to get a good picture of this. And here I was more blue because I was doing more classes and stuff on teaching the spiritual stuff. So, and I think there was some little bit of purple in there too. The next one I was really doing opening your heart chakra, and you can tell because boy, it takes a while. That's the heart chakra, and that's how much bigger it was than the other. And my solar plexus, or is that sacral, was opening up. And each chakra gives you different. It depends on what part of the body and stuff you're working with. The root chakra is your power. Now this one here, it's more blue, green, and purple, and you can see the third eye, the throat, and the heart chakra were opened higher, along with it looks like the sacral. So, each time you have it done, depending on what your studies are, depending on what your mood swing is, you're going to get a different color. Now, this was the first one I ever had done. And I looked like a rainbow around me because I was going through so many different things. And that was in 97. I was also going through a divorce at that time. So, hence the reason for a lot of stuff going on. Now here's another one. You can't even see me because the colors. And then I had a lot of spirit action here. The white is spirit action. I was protected by so many at that time, and that was 2009. Now here's another one. Total white. You can't see me for anything. And that was January 27th of 08. That was the anniversary of my mom's death and stuff. And I was just very much surrounded by the spirit world. And so you couldn't see my energy at all. That's how cool that is. This one here looks like another rainbow. Now this one was a month later, but yet the colors, I still had a lot of the spirit coming in over here, the white, but I had a lot more. And most of the time I don't get the yellows and the oranges and the reds. Most of the time I get the blues, purples, and the greens, because most of the time I was doing that type stuff. Now this is a totally different company, and they came out totally different. And of course, here then again is the spirits that was around me. but there's a lot of, it was lavender in color and a little bit of blue. And on the inside, this company gives you all the breakdowns. It gives you the center, it gives you the right side, it gives you the left side, and it tells you the different colors and stuff. I'm looking right now in Western New York. The first group of pictures I had done was by a company in Niagara Falls. And I always had these things done at the psychic fairs. I haven't been to a psychic fair in quite a while. Now, this one here is all purple. There we go. And I don't care if I cover my face up or not. That doesn't make any difference. And then the next one, it's another one that's all purple. But I had a lot of trauma going on in my life. So you wound up with the dark on the outer part around me. So, you know, each time, oh, and this was I think the last one this was done in 2016. That one there, I looked like a ghost with the white face, but it was all green. But I was also going through some stuff, so there was more darker around me, and the green was on the outer part. But I'm still looking for somebody to do that again. I've got to find out when the next psychic fair is in Western New York. It used to be at the Grapevine on Dick Road, and I don't know if they're still having it there because different people had passed, and then the business had been having issues. So I'm not too sure who's doing it anymore. I kind of do my own thing, and I don't really get into. I'm going to have to start getting back into that. I think I'm going to wind up going to Dragonfly over in Clarence. I got a little honey on my finger from my tea. It's my number one mom cup. That so that I can get back into a lot of stuff. I've got to get some more crystals. I guess 150 crystals that I have are not enough. Because I use those when I'm doing Reiki sessions. So what I do is I don't really do a grid. I will have certain crystals that I pull ahead of time for a client, and I will either just put them under the pillow for when I'm doing the Reiki and stuff, or I will hand them the bowl or have them pick whichever they're drawn to, because crystals have such healing properties and stuff. When I'm doing Reiki, I like to incorporate crystals. I like to incorporate my essential oils, which are up there, the color therapy glasses that I use, and tuning forks. I will incorporate all of those, same price for when I do a Reiki session. It's just, I like the extra energy that it comes in and gives extra healing properties to the person. And this week is going to be my birthday week. I turned the big 7-0. So on Tuesday. So the boyfriend's going to take me out for lunch at a place over in Depew that specializes in a lot of gluten-free food. But I'm hoping that they keep it that way because a new owner just took over August 1st for Bloomfield. It's a pub, restaurant, bar type thing. And I've only been there one other time, and with no problem, because I'm always so careful, because if I get cross-contaminated, I'm sick for a week or two. So, and that's the one thing with celiac disease, people don't understand how it affects us. And it's nasty. You know, it's like having the flu 10 times worse, you know, so it's not a fun time. But the jewelry I have on, this one's a moonstone. And this other one here is my birthstone. So that's peridot. But I just thought I'd come on quick because I finally found those after being in the house for 7 years now. And I could not remember where the heck I put those. And they were in plain sight in my little wicker basket that's got my sage and a few other things for lighting candles. And it's like, how the heck did you not see those? You know, but that's, but my last video, I got kind of ticked off because of the fact that it cut me off. So I'm going to grab the 3 things that I was trying to show at the end of the last video, which was I'm going to be trying to teach myself astrology. I've had this book forever and a day. And if you want to get away from, pharmaceutical crap, try getting into this, and then we also have encyclopedia of herbs and their uses. So that's what I'm going to be doing even more. This year I planted more herbs, more for cooking, but I think I'm going to incorporate a lot of that stuff. Like I take my sage and I cut it down at the end of the season and I dry it so that I've got my own sage. I don't have to, go out and buy any. I've got my own and I go from there. So, and you can see there's a putty cat on the Reiki table. There usually is, and there's a dog on the floor. They just seem to, they get a lot of peace in this room. They'll climb up on the table. If I don't have anything on the table, they will climb up on it. The dog loves to get Reiki, so that's my life. And the one thing, even with the chaos and stuff going on in the world, live your life. Don't let anybody take your joy away from you. I know things are not the way we want them to be. We, protest if you want to protest. I've done 2 protests. Never thought at my age I would be doing protests, But then again, I was a 50s baby, and you had the 60s and the 70s, and burn your bra and women's lib and this and that. So and women started getting more of our own freedoms. We could get a charge card that we didn't have to have a husband or anybody male sign for it. We could get vehicles without having to have a male co-signer. Now we seem to be going backwards and losing women's rights. That I'm not a fan of. If you're a woman, and not see, with me, I went back to my maiden name when I got the divorce. So nobody can say anything to me about voting. I can vote because I still have the birth name is still the same name. So nobody left or right can take it from me. There's things on both political left and right that I don't agree with. I wish they would both come back to the center and work together, because there's things that if you talk to somebody on the right, they'll say, well, I believe in this, this, and this. And it's like, okay, well, those are still 3 of the things that the left believes in. So let's bring them together. This world is too divided. We have to knock that crap off. We've got to get back into the spiritual, not the religious stuff. Boy, there was that ugly face when I just did that. We need to get more spiritual. Jesus wasn't a religious person. He was a spiritual person. So let's get back to human rights and taking care of each other, because we're supposed to be here to be of service to others. Now, this past week, the church garden that I started 13 years ago, I've got one of the other girls is running it now, but she was on vacation. So a couple of us chipped in, and I took produce down to the food pantry, both on Monday and Friday. Because if you can't, and you don't see the need to help others, especially those less fortunate and that have food insecurity, then that's a problem. You need to do a little examination of yourself, because we're all here to be of service to others. Whether it's monetary or it's spiritual uplifting, whatever. That's what we're here to do. I don't want to be preachy, but sometimes, the reverend comes out in me, because that's what we're here to do. Be kind to others. Kindness. Be humble. Be grateful. When I get up in the morning, I'm grateful that God gave me another day. Because last year, when I went through that health crisis, I didn't think I was going to be waking up the next day. And my brother didn't get the chance to wake up the next day. So don't take your life for granted, because we can be sniffed out in a second. So be kind, be loving, be peaceful. Peace out.